What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I actually had a different video plan for today, obviously regarding Call of Duty. It's a funny one, in my personal opinion, insane news, but I had to push it back just one singular day. It's going to be dropping tomorrow instead of today because Xdefiant, well, the Xdefiant team, put out some amazing information over on Twitter regarding the matchmaking that's going to be within that game. And I know you guys are going to say, well, JB, why are you even covering this? Who cares? It's just matchmaking. But seriously, it's a lot of good details within this blog post explaining how the matchmaking is going to work, what is going to be happening when you're going from lobby to lobby, and what your overall experience is going to more than likely be. And I think the details that they put within this blog post are going to be things that the Call of Duty community is going to be absolutely ecstatic for. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, before we go ahead and dive deep, if you guys are interested in more content just like this, don't forget to go ahead and subscribe and hit that bell. We post daily here at 8 in the morning Eastern time. Mostly Call of Duty, of course, but when Xdefiant drops, you best believe there's going to be tons, and when I say tons, I mean tons of content regarding that game on this channel. And of course, if you guys are interested in any of my live streams, I do that pretty much daily over on Kick. And actually, if you guys want to catch me stream Xdefiant when this game goes live, I'll be over on Twitch. So if you guys want, I have a link to both those channels down in the description of this video. If you want to tune in today, I'll be on Kick, but like I said, when Xdefiant goes live, we are going to be grinding the heck out of that game over on the Twitch channel. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now with that being said, let's dive right into the blog post so we can go ahead and discuss a little bit afterwards. As we get closer to our long-awaited launch, we wanted to take some time to outline matchmaking systems in Xdefiant. We know this is a hot topic in the FPS space, and in keeping with our commitment to transparency, we have put together some details for you. The most important thing to know is there is no skill-based matchmaking in our casual playlist. We believe that no skill-based matchmaking is paramount to a fun and varied game experience in the long term. Frankly, skill-based matchmaking means every casual game is repetitive, constantly repeating matches that are just as stressful and matched as ranked. We believe casual playlists should be fun, and no skill-based matchmaking is the way to do that. If you want that competitive, every second counts, go all outplay style, you'll find our ranked mode to your liking. Matchmaking factors. Each playlist will prioritize different factors when finding you a match. These factors are sorted based on intended gameplay experience for the individual playlist. In short, casual play, matchmaking puts a priority on fast connection times. It will try to match latency and regions where possible. And ranked play, matchmaking prioritizes quality matches. It will wait longer for appropriate players. It is segmented by rank levels and will only matchmake players within rank range. It also employs latency and region preferences where possible. Ranked play will be added in a future season. So make sure to keep your skills sharp in casual play until then. But ladies and gentlemen, before we dive deeper, I just wanted to say I absolutely love this post. The fact that they come out and they tell you why it's not good for casual play is what I want to hear. You know, I don't want to hear any fake hype or fake BS about why no skill-based, oh, we're just having no skill-based matchmaking because that's what everybody's complaining about in the COD scene. None of that garbage. They know why players don't like skill-based matchmaking in casual play. They know it leads to repetitive matches, hyper-competitive matches. They know it's not good for the long-term goal of having a casual experience. They acknowledge this all. Every last detail. Something that COD honestly still hasn't done. They won't acknowledge. They actually think it's the complete opposite. They have openly said that they think matchmaking is better for their casual playlist. So we have two competing games right here, which I think is going to be a huge deciding factor for a lot of players because they're going to look at COD and they're supporting matchmaking, saying it's good, and then they're going to look at Xdefiant and they're saying, well, no, skill-based matchmaking is bad for casual play, and it's going to be up to the player to go ahead and decide. But let's dive a little bit deeper because they also gave us a complete list below in descending order of priority. So basically from top to bottom is going to be what they prioritize when it comes to connection. I'm not really going to showcase ranked play because honestly, all I really care about is casual play. So let's dive right into it. As you can see, latency prefers similar ping. So that's going to be number one. That's what they want to find first. You know, ping is king. Avoided players restricts matchmaking between any players currently avoiding one another through muting. So basically the block feature, which is absolutely useless in COD, is going to work in Xdefiant, where if you mute someone or you're potentially annoyed by a player, they're going to try their hardest to make sure you don't have to lobby up with that player. Again, I'm not one for blocking every person who's better than me to make my experiences easier, but if you are trying to, filter out certain sweats, this is going to work perfectly for you. Party size prefers to match parties against parties of similar size. Another phenomenal feature, might be a bit iffy because we don't know how well the matches are going to be placed together if you're having, a few high tier players and then you have a couple of low tier player friends, grouping together how it's going to prioritize the matches of enemies that are also in parties. But for solo players, this is great because it means that if you hop into a solo match, it's going to try to prioritize you with other solos. Exactly what we've been begging for, but instead in COD, we hop into solo and we're constantly versing full 6-stack teams. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. So once again, huge, absolutely huge news to know that they're starting with ping, they're moving on to players that you don't want to play with, and then they go over to party size to make sure that if you're a solo, you can also play solo. If, of course, they can find enough players. Then fourth is region, prefers players from the same region, language. Then input device, prefers players using the same input device. And then platform, prefers players using the same platform, PC, Xbox, or PS. Honestly, this is a perfect lineup. I know others are going to prefer the input device to be, a little bit higher. They want it to be priority number one because they don't want to verse PC players. But that's where it gets juicy. They have a little bit more details here, as you can see down below. Team balancing. Once a lobby is populated, teams are balanced based on a player's skill rating. The casual lobby does not use skill to determine who gets into the game, but once everybody shows up, it balances the team for a fun match. Once again, exactly how it should be. It shouldn't be balancing out games before you're hopping into the experience. It makes sure it finds you a lobby with good connection. It lobbies you all in. Make sure if you're a solo, maybe you're playing with other solos. If you're a party, you're playing with other parties. And then obviously the loose players will be cycled through. They're going to see where they might fit a little bit better to make for even fun matches. And also, this means that lobbies are going to stay the same, but we're going to dive deep a little bit on that topic a bit later because I remember everybody roasting me for that one. But then input device lock. Some playlists will enforce input device locking, such as ranked, when players start matchmaking. The input device they are using becomes locked in and cannot be switched without leaving the lobby. This is to prevent players from intentionally joining with wrong input device to trick the matchmaker. So again, for people who are trying to cheese their way into experiences that they shouldn't be in, this is a good way to counter that. If you want to play with controller players, you can play with controller players. If you want to play with mouse and keyboard players, you can play with mouse and keyboard players. Nobody's going to be hopping into controller matches, plugging in a controller and then taking it off and getting their mouse and keyboard up. And nobody's going to be hopping into mouse and keyboard lobbies, plugging those in and then taking it out and putting it in a controller. It's just not going to be happening that way. And then the final one, which again is the most important, is lobby persistence. In casual playlists, the default behavior of lobbies is to persist between matches. This means subsequent games will often include the same players from the previous match. Teams, however, are shuffled each match. Again, every single game that goes by, they're going to shuffle up the games, but the lobbies will not disband. It's not going to kick you out after every single game. And this is something that I really want to drive home because I got roasted like no tomorrow. And I was just amazed how many people didn't see this. They literally said before the freaking stress test for the servers, they said out loud on Twitter that lobbies are still going to disband in the stress test, but they won't be like that in the main game. And how it's going to work is if you pick multiple different modes like TDM, hot shot, domination. I don't even think they have TDM, but you get the point. If you have multiple different modes selected to cycle through, it's going to disband lobbies. But if you just pick one game mode, if you only play hot shot or you only pick domination, it's going to make sure the lobbies never disband. You're going to be party with the other people who don't have multiple different modes selected, which means that they only want to play Dom and they're just going to keep you guys in the same game and rotate it through. They said this so loud and clear, yet the whole community was screaming at them during the stress test saying, "Oh my God, the lobbies are disbanding. What are you guys doing? This matchmaking is horrifying. You guys are so and I'm just sitting here thinking to myself, they literally said this. But look, there you go. There you go. There you go. If you guys didn't see the tweets, at least you have it now so you can calm down. The lobbies are not going to disband unless you're selecting multiple different modes. Amazing. And then obviously waiting queues, allowing people to party into your squad if you're already in a game and they can wait, to be in the next lobby, whatever. That's already in COD. It is what it is. It doesn't matter. The main priority of this post is them acknowledging that skill-based matchmaking sucks for casual play and that they want the casual player to enjoy the experience more, especially if you're a solo player as well. This is huge, guys. I don't know about you. I know. Some people might think this is absolutely useless, but no, this is great information. This is exactly what the COD community and the Xdefiant community want to hear at this point, especially in a time where sweating in FPS games is so freaking obnoxious. To at least see a development team that isn't stressing their game more towards the competitive side is just such a breath of fresh air, because that's what all these games are revolved around. And even though this game does have a ranked scene, it is going to have ranked in future seasons, at the end of the day, they are still going to try to differentiate the casual experience to the ranked experience. Unlike many other games out there where it's like they literally design the fundamentals of the game around ranked and then they try to branch off in casual, but it just doesn't work because, there's no difference. The game is exactly the same across the board. They're trying to push for something different here. Now, this isn't confirming that the games are going to be casual, because for anybody who's played any of the open betas, especially the ones with millions of players, so obviously the selection of players is huge, The pool of players is massive. Millions we're talking about, and it was still hyperly competitive, hyper sweaty. So I don't know if this is going to help that much, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. All that matters is they're doing it. Something the community has asked for, they're doing it. It's as simple as that. But ladies and gentlemen, do me a massive favor and go down in the comment section and leave your opinions about how you feel about all this information here. Do you think it's good? Do you think it's bad? Do you think they're full of it? Do you think they're speaking some facts? Do you think they're telling the truth? Or do you think this game actually has matchmaking? Because I know a lot of people during the playtest also thought that the matchmaking was in the game and that they were lying about it. So again, what do you guys think is the overall situation here? But for me, I think this is phenomenal, and I hope they keep this, once again, transparency with the community throughout its whole life cycle. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed today's video, leave a like. If you hate it, leave a dislike. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. We post daily here at 8 in the morning Eastern Time. And don't forget to check out my streams over on Kick. I got a link to that down below, and that stream goes live between 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern Time. As always, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.